vaping is better than smoking? Technically, yes. But so what?
Okay, guys, welcome to the Vice Vlog. I'm TJ.
I'm Justin.
This is the Armageddon edition. All right, guys, we're under attack from about every angle, and we've already had multiple states go in and ban and start banning flavored e-liquid. It was starting with Michigan. They announced that they were going to implement a ban, and then New York just come out of nowhere and said, you know what, fuck that, we're banning it right now. So it started with them, but by far the worst we've seen is Massachusetts, which is pretty much...
Oh, dude, that was brutal. Yeah, they went into a complete ban. No hardware, no e-liquid. I mean, not even like with Michigan and New York, they pretty much banned flavored e-liquid. Good old Mass just
pretty much
hit the stop button.
But and that's not all, because these states have started just dropping like flies. So now we have Rhode Island, which has banned, which I believe they've left tobacco on the market, and then you have LA, which has done the same. So we're in some shit.
Yeah, it's getting pretty rough out there, guys.
So I would highly recommend you going to your state groups, your advocacy groups, follow, support. Do everything you can.
Well, guys, we spent the last couple of weeks watching all these hearings, like in New York, and even the
hundreds of hearings. I mean,
the committee hearings, all that shit,
the testimonies. And the thing of it is, man, it's like we've watched. LA had 300 speakers. We watched every one of them, and the thing was, 99% of the people speaking were business owners and people that were against the ban. And what did they do at the end? I mean, that's it, you guys are done.
Right.
And and the way they paraded the kids out there, that really bothered me, because when you take the kids and you make the argument, it becomes very sensitive when you bring kids into, an argument that way.
Right.
Like, this is something that, as a tax-paying citizen, I mean, you have the right to speak. I mean, I'm sorry, but kids don't have the right to make law.
As a parent myself, granted, he's 5 years old. I know there's a major difference between, basically a toddler running around your house versus a teenager, out doing God knows what. I mean, I know how I was as a teenager. We don't need to talk about that here. But, like, even my son knows. I mean, he can name, this is a tank, this is a mod. I don't have a bottle of e-liquid here, but he knows what a bottle of e-liquid looks like. Even the different sizes and stuff, he knows not to touch any of it. As a matter of fact, even last night, he was running through the living room. He likes to run around. And he knocked my bottle of Vapor Lock off the table. And we've been trying to teach him, pick up after yourself. If you knock something off, pick it up, that kind of stuff. And I made him pick it up. And he even said, Daddy, that's poison. I'm like, yeah, you don't mess with it. Just pick it up, put it on the table, you're good to go.
And the amazing thing is your son's 5. I've got 2 kids in college and I've got 2 kids in high school. And is it at high school? Absolutely it is. But the thing of it is, it's not for my kids. They've never touched it. They know exactly what it is and what the purpose of it's for.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, kids need to be held accountable for their actions, and they know better than to put a jewel in their mouth and do that. I mean, that's what is causing the problem. When are we going to start holding the kids and parents accountable for their kids? Because I know if my kids pick it up, my kids are in trouble. My kids know that. Same as your son knows that. In all these hearings that we've watched, we know you'll get people, everybody's bringing up the fact that it's counterfeit, black market, bought from drug dealer THC cartridges, but they keep diverting it back to the children. Now, what is making people sick is the THC cartridges that are being bought off the black market. I don't know where they came from. They're having all kinds of busts right now in the news where they're finding people with millions of dollars worth of this product that is contaminated, or whatever you call that.
Right.
That is the main problem.
Yeah, especially in one of these committee hearings, just 2-3 days ago, one of the House committee hearings, they kept talking about how we don't know what's doing it, when if you go back and actually a lot of the news sources now, even about the 8 deaths, are starting to report that, yeah, it was a tainted THC cartridge. and that hospitals are reporting that, yeah, it's the vitamin E acetate that they're using in these illegal, street cardos that are causing these damages and these injuries and deaths even.
And when they come out and they ask the FDA and the CDC, do you know exactly what it is? 70 to 80% of these are THC, and we're studying the rest. So they don't know what's causing it.
Yeah, that was one of the major things. One of the, what was she with, the CDC? I don't know how many times she said, I don't have that information. I don't know. It's your fucking job to know. I mean, this is why you're here at this hearing.
Yeah, because you were smart and you know.
Right.
And you know how this works. And it's like they would get on there and they would almost draw a blank and run back to the same thing every time. Well, we're waiting on the studies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You cannot destroy an industry because you're waiting on the studies. There's the biggest problem that I have with this whole charades.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
Right. And like even Dr. Rizzo, I think his name was, kept trying to go back and say, well, we don't know what's causing it. Yeah, we do know what's causing it. Well, we don't know the effects of e-liquid, and all of the Public Health England studies, they were just done in 2 days by people that are involved with the industry, so they're bought into it and all that. I'm like,
and that it's a bogus study. It's like, really, they pretty much made medicine.
Right.
Made it the way it. I mean, you can't call that a bogus study.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty serious.
When the government over in the UK is promoting,
putting it in hospitals,
all of this stuff, and they've been studying it for years.
Like I said, it's not like we've been around for 6 weeks. We've been around for at least 12 years that we've been able to purchase and buy these products. And this has never been a problem.
Right.
Never was a teen epidemic. It never was people getting put in the hospital, but it fit their narrative, which didn't work out for us because they've got their words mixed up. Instead of saying mods and separating us from what the problem is, they're saying vaping, e-liquid, mods. I mean, none of this has to do with any of this. The only thing that they are doing is they are vaping these black market cartridges. That's the only thing that puts us in this whole mess.
Right. And then Representative Rashida, I can never say her last name, Talab? Yeah.
Talib?
I think that's it.
Talib. Yeah.
My apologies.
No, don't worry about it. It's not unimportant.
But even she said some shit the other day that had me really scratching my head, and I had to stop and go back and watch it again just to make sure I heard her right. That for every adult that uses vapor products, 81 kids are introduced to vaping and will graduate to smoke cigarettes. Number one, that's wildly fucking inaccurate.
Yeah, you can't. They don't even know what's causing it, and they keep taking it back to the kids.
Right, but if you do the math on that, there's roughly 13 million adult vapors in the United States alone. So she's saying here in the United States, over 1 billion kids are going to start vaping.
That's not true.
There's not 1 billion kids in the United States.
And the thing is, there's no way you could actually do a study on 1 billion kids that haven't even started yet.
Right.
Here's the thing. They're not talking about big tobacco and how many kids will get a hold of that. Because what they're saying is it's okay to have a tobacco flavor. That's okay.
Right.
But that's not that's saying it's okay to go smoke cigarettes. It's not okay to go smoke cigarettes.
No, not at all.
And we don't like tobacco flavors because it reminds us of smoking cigarettes.
Right.
We're adults.
Yeah, there needs to be that disassociation from cigarettes, and flavors help that.
I'm going to be honest about this. For a long time, I carried around a smaller unit with tobacco in it just so I would have that, because that's what I felt like kept me away from it. It reminded me of it, and that's why I felt comfortable with that. But over about the last 3 years, it's like that's not where I'm at anymore. It's like I don't want to be reminded of that, and that's what they're doing by making these bans the way they are, is they're reminding people of the taste of tobacco, which says, well, this is okay, then maybe I can go ahead and go smoke a cigarette and that'll be fine, or I can chew snuff, or any tobacco product that way. You're saying it's okay.
Right. And it's kind of bullshit though. The FDA kind of has our hands tied behind our backs, and we're not legally allowed to tell customers in this shop the truth.
We don't.
We can't tell them, yeah, this is great for, if you're wanting to get off cigarettes. We can't even say shit like that. But there's nothing stopping these healthcare professionals or these politicians from lying about, legal businesses.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just total bullshit.
And they're very quick. I think that they're actually approving new tobacco products that are going on the market now. It's like a dry vaporizer. You put a cigarette in it and then you vape it dry. What is the damn difference?
Right. Yeah. IQOS, I think.
Yeah,
IQOS.
yeah, I've seen it online.
From Philip Morris, and then fucking Bloomberg has invested millions of dollars. They're actually going to be coming out with a FDA-approved vaporizer, which I imagine is going to include, I mean, outside of it being just a standard tobacco flavor, it's going to have the same ingredients, PG, VG, you name it.
That's the thing. If it's so unsafe, it's like, why is the tobacco flavor okay, but yet you can't have a strawberry? I'm sorry, adults are allowed to like watermelon, strawberry, mango. I mean, that's the kind of flavors that, you know, keep us here versus going back there.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. But the good thing about those two products is the first one from Philip Morris, the IQOS, I don't know how to pronounce it.
It doesn't even matter.
But it's already FDA approved.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, it snuck in right under the radar. It's already FDA approved. And Bloomberg's device is in the process of its approval.
Well, and they have millions of dollars too, so they will get through the PMTAs where
Oh, yeah.
all of our companies will not, because they're not. And that's the hard part for me to swallow too, is like, you're not making it affordable for us to get through it. I've heard two different numbers. I've heard 600,000 per flavor per Nick level, and I've also heard 350,000. I don't.
Well,
know.
I mean, I guess it depends on, you know, what all needs to be done with that line or that SKU. But yeah, I mean, it can go up to like $650,000.
And I can guarantee you that none of us will make it through.
Right.
None of our flavors will make it, and that's the point.
But when you got a billion-dollar company coming out with one device and one flavor,
Because tobacco is the only flavor allowed.
right? So yeah, 650,000. That's a drop in the bucket.
That's nothing, especially when they are guaranteed approval where we're not. We could end up getting up 650,000 to get a flavor through with no guarantee that it'll be approved, and it could be the same ingredients that's in their product.
Right.
They don't want the competition. This is really all goes back to the MSA, the Master Settlement Agreement, which is really pretty sad that this is where our country's at with this whole situation, that this is about states owing money and bonds from big tobacco money that they've already collected. So,
Yeah, like Michigan, what was it, $315 million?
yeah, well,
And
LA, California was 850 million.
yeah, I mean, it's just fucking crazy.
And when you do the math and they start losing their money that way, they got to get that money back, but because they default on their bonds, they have to pay it back somehow. So why mess around with us when they can just ban us and get their money back?
Right, because I mean, hell, even if 30% of the vapors in, like, say, Michigan go back to smoking cigarettes, they're going to see an uptick in their tobacco sales.
Which is exactly what's going to happen. People will go back when this is no longer available to them. If they have to go overseas and buy from China, they may try, but who knows what's in that?
Right.
I said everything here, I mean, is, you know, good quality, made in clean rooms. I mean, you know, it's very scientific what they've got going on here, and they're going to get rid of the good guys and
pretty much push everybody. Well, they're saying the problem is all of this this illegal black market.
Yeah.
So now let's cut out the legitimate businesses, the legitimate manufacturers,
that are going by the rules,
and push everybody to the black market.
and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which, and if they think they got a problem now, wait until then. Because
right.
honestly, it's like the problem is with the black market. It's not with the vape shops that card. I mean, don't get me wrong. Pull this stuff offline, pull it out of the C-stores, make it to where they have to get it from a vapor shop, a brick and mortar, because we do care. We will card. And that's when we have always done it that way, and that's the way we'll continue to do it until we're forced out of business.
Right.
But, you know, that little bit of money you make off of somebody isn't worth your
no,
tobacco
hell no.
license. I mean, we're talking nothing. I mean, $20 is nothing in compared to big business, you know,
Right.
keeping a store open. We did have a hero come out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, fucking Vicky Porter.
Absolutely went into the freaking lion's den and just did a really, really good job.
Yeah, she did, but unfortunately, she got fucking hammered.
And and it was unfair because she was coming back with, you know, adequate stuff, and they didn't want to hear it. It was very clear that their minds were already made up.
Yeah.
Especially the what's her name?
Rashida Tlaib.
Talib.
Tlaib.
Anyways, pretty much called her a conspiracy theorist, wanted to look her up and find out a little more information about her, which brought up her political views, and it was pretty sickening to have to watch that anyways.
Oh yeah, and I just thought it was absolutely disgusting how Vicky was treated. I mean, completely unprofessional. You know, when you have these elected officials willing to talk to people that way, it's just disgusting.
Pretty much called a conspiracy theorist, and she knew somebody that was up on the panel and was
She had winked.
And apparently it's against the law to wink now. So
right.
It's pretty sickening to see that happen that way, but it's done now. But like I said, all we can do is bring light to it and let you guys know that their minds were clearly already made up before that hearing ever started.
Well, guys, that's it. That's all we got. We just wanted to kind of share some of the shit that's been going on around our industry in case you haven't, you know.
Kind of put our 2 cents on it, let you know where we stand. In Indiana, it's not here yet. I'm sure it's going to come up eventually. We'll deal with it when it's time to get there. But right now, make sure that you're going and liking and sharing all the support groups. And make sure that if you have it and have the means to donate, throw a little something in the pot to help fund the war here, guys. Because we're under attack from every angle and we have to do something.
Definitely, definitely. So, hopefully, we'll be back next week. Hopefully. Outside of that, guys, you stay sexy.